Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with the Spain News Update. And the crime of sedition here in Spain is to be removed from the Spanish Penal Code, but more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that supported the channel through a donation or by buying me a beer or a coffee or through the new Super Thanks option. Many thanks for that. And thanks to my patrons on Patreon for your continuing support. Now, let's get into the news, and as I said, the crime of sedition here in Spain going to be removed from the penal code and replaced with something different. As we can read here, Prime Minister Sánchez announces the replacement of the crime of sedition with the crime of aggravated public disorder. The President of the government, Pedro Sánchez, has announced that this Friday they will present an initiative in Congress to reform the crime of sedition to replace it with a crime comparable to that of other European democracies such as Switzerland, Germany or France. In this way, the crime will be renamed aggravated public disorder. Sánchez, in an interview on La Sexta, announced on Thursday that this proposal will be presented by the Socialist Group and the United Podemos group in the lower house registry. He also denied that it is a demand of ERC and stressed that he has been demanding it forever, while pointing out in recent weeks several parliamentary groups have said they are willing to undertake this reform. So the crime of sedition here in Spain will be removed from the penal code and replaced with aggravated public disorder. And although the Prime Minister has said that political parties like ERC, Catalan nationalist parties that a couple of years ago tried to separate from Spain, are not demanding this change, not many people believe him. So another example of how Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez is willing to bend over backwards to please these radical political parties and keep himself in power. Now there's a lot of pressure for Spain's Home Minister Fernando Grande Marlaska to resign, given the fiasco that took place in the autonomous city of Melilla back in June when some 23 migrants died and allegedly some died on Spanish soil. But according to this headline, Marlaska is relaxed and does not consider resigning after the crisis over the border invasion in Melilla. All eyes were on the Minister of the Interior today. Fernando Grande Marlaska gave explanations to the media before attending an event in Madrid. Marlaska ruled out resigning and assured that he had acted with maximum transparency. Marlaska also defends the actions of the Guardia Civil and confirms that his ministry has handed over all the necessary documentation to the Attorney General's office, which is investigating the case. The Minister of the Interior has also been asked if he would be willing to appear before the Congress of Deputies to give explanations. Marlaska says that he is willing to appear as many times as necessary if the opposition asks him to do so. When you act with transparency, says the minister, you appear without any problem. So fairly clear the Home Minister or Interior Minister's opinion on this issue. Everything has been done with maximum transparency, and he has got absolutely nothing to worry about, and he's not going to resign. Time will tell. Now, as we know, a lot of people going on strike at the moment here in Spain, not happy with the way the country is going. Transport workers around the country are set to strike. Train drivers in recent times have also been on strike. The unions here in Spain are threatening a serious strike. And in the Madrid community, doctors are going on strike. As we can read here, GPs and pediatricians join the emergency strike in Madrid due to the serious overload. GPs and pediatricians in primary care in Madrid have announced that they will go on strike indefinitely on the 21st of November due to the chaos and the very serious overload experienced in health centres as a result of the restructuring of out-of-hospital emergency services in the region. The union AMYTS, the majority of doctors in Madrid, has called a strike of doctors in 24-hour care centres since last Monday, which affects about 200 doctors from the former SAR and SUAPs and Summa 112. Now it has urged 4,240 family doctors and 720 paediatricians in health centres to also join the strike in the face of work overload, endless agendas, and the lack of time to attend patients. So a strike by doctors here in Madrid highlighting the serious problems that the health system has in this autonomous community. And I, for one, am hoping that they can get their issues sorted as soon as possible. Now, keeping on the topic of health, this next headline caught my attention because, as we can read here, Spain registers a large excess of deaths and the health ministry does not know the cause. The last half of the year has been by far the one with the highest number of deaths in Spain since COVID has been in existence and since there have been comparable records. The more than 10,000 deaths officially caused by the virus virus and almost 5,000 attributed to the heat are already worrying figures in themselves. But the biggest problem lies in the excess mortality from all causes, which stands at 27,060, well above the 2020 and 2021 figures for the 6 warm months of the year from May to October. The total since January now stands at 33,165. What is happening? No one knows exactly. According to the daily all-cause mortality monitoring system, MOMO, not only has there been a record number of deaths, but also a record number of 4,800 deaths attributable to heat. In addition, there have been 10,410 deaths due to COVID in the last 6 months. Even if we add these two causes together, there would still be 11,850 more deaths not attributed to the weather or the virus. Another possible cause of the excess we are suffering, apart from those we don't yet know about, could be the crisis in the health system, which has not properly cared for vulnerable people in recent years. Add the heat and the unresolved health problems in 2020 and 2021, plus the cases of COVID that contribute to dying with and not from COVID, as COVID causes or worsens other diseases. Summarizes Jeffrey Lazarus, co-director of the Bacterial and Viral Infections Program of IS Global, a centre promoted by the La Caixa Foundation. So a large number of excess deaths here in Spain, and the health ministry doesn't know what's going on. Now, if you're living here in Spain, over 55 and unemployed, don't worry, you're not alone, because according to this article in Cinco Días, Spain leads Europe in senior unemployment. Spain and Italy have the highest rates of senior unemployment between 55 and 69 years of age in the European Union, according to the second map of senior talent. According to the Spain in the European Context, published by the Agingnomics Fundación Mafre Research Centre, 1 out of every 3 unemployed people in Spain is over 50 years old, and 1 out of every 2 senior unemployed is long-term unemployed. Spain, together with Poland and France, is among the European countries with the lowest senior employment rate at 41%, 10 points below the European average. Being of a certain age is already a handicap to stay in the labour market, even if you have skills, training and experience. You are over 55 years old, so everything else is subject to an age-related reason, says Rafael Pujol, one of the authors of the report. So we'll add the problem of senior employment, trying to get a job when you're over the age of 55, to the long list of problems in this country. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Astartes: lovely, you are visiting the centre of Spain. I hope you can visit Avila someday. Astartes, thanks for the comment, and don't worry, the city of Avila in the autonomous community of Castilla y León, not far from Madrid, is on my list of places to visit soon. Avila is definitely a must-visit city for anybody planning a trip to the centre of Spain. If you've got Madrid on your list, if you've got Toledo on your list, Segovia on your list, then you need to add Avila. I don't think it's connected to the fast train network like those other cities that I just mentioned, but there are trains that go there. They just take a little bit longer. And Avila is also a city that is known for its food, fantastic meat dishes, and great tapas. So in the near future, I'll be paying a visit to that city. One here from Alan: the local health centre here in Benidorm is very efficient. Appointments are 1 or 2 days waiting, very quick. No complaints. I am from the UK and have lived in Benidorm for 23 years. Yeah, Alan, thanks for the comment, and good to see that the public health system in Benidorm works well. Only 1 or 2 days you have to wait to get an appointment to see a GP there, whereas here in Madrid where I live, it's around 15 days. And given that GPs here are going to go on strike soon, the waiting times could increase even more. So a classic example of Spain's decentralized public health system. In some parts of the country, for example the Valencian community, it works reasonably well, but here in Madrid, it stinks. One here from James: in Ronda they put bike lanes on both sides of the road leading into town, where previously people could park their cars on a busy day, as people used to come for lunch. Now there is a chronic shortage of parking due to the bike lanes, where you can no longer park, so even locals have a problem every day, let alone if there are a lot of visitors. The Vuelta de España comes through Ronda for 5 minutes a year, but any other day I have never seen a cyclist on the new bike lanes. Mad, crazy idea. Yeah, James, thanks for the comment, and another example of how some towns and cities here in Spain are going crazy putting in bike lanes. The city where I live here on the outskirts of Madrid is going crazy at the moment putting in bike lanes, and I'm yet to see a cyclist use these new lanes. I'm sure that at weekends they'll get plenty of use, but during the week it's another story, because the majority of people here don't use bikes for their day-to-day transport. Will that change in the future? I don't know. Time will tell. And if it doesn't, hundreds of thousands of euros of European money down the drain. One here from Darren. Well, I have been going to Mallorca since the mid-80s and I go every year. However, this year was the last straw. Prices have spiraled out of control. They are all trying to go up market and drinks in a lot of places were 4 to 5 euros. Now add this to the extra money it costs for the holiday plus the 108 euros tourist tax. It has totally put us off going back. We went to Magaluf and Calador this year, by the way. I also had 1 week in Benidorm in September. It was jumping and still has reasonable drink and food prices. In fact, the drinks were half the price of those in Mallorca. I believe next year will be different and they will struggle to get tourists. But let's see. Yeah, Darren, thanks for the comment, and it does seem that places like Mallorca and the Balearic Islands did try to take advantage of the bumper tourist season this year, charging people extra for things like drinks and food. And I also believe, and I've read it in some places, that Mallorca is trying to change its tourist model, go up market, as you say in your comment, and get rid of the riffraff. Places like Magaluf in Mallorca are trying to attract families and they don't want drunken louts. But the other place that you mentioned in your comment, Benidorm, doesn't seem to have changed. They're sticking with the sun, sea, sand and sangria tourism model, where cheap food and cheap beer is the objective. And finally, one here from Wolf. Haha, love the dog cam. Always enjoy your program. I'm English in Zaragoza. Great city, great people. Cuídate, amigo. Yeah, Wolf, thanks for the comment, and that is something that I have added to the live streams on Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday evenings, a dog cam where people can see my dog sitting next to me here on the couch. And if I switch the dog cam here, again we can see my furry little friend Mia here in her favorite spot on the couch. Mia, Mia. Good dog. So the dog cam there, adding another dimension to the live streams, and glad that you like it. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.